Hello mathematicians, puzzlers, and other curious people. In this video, we're going to discuss problems with negative exponents, such as 3 to the power negative 5. What is a negative exponent really? We think about positive exponents as repeated multiplication. I want to extend that and use the idea that the opposite of multiplication is division and say, okay, we can think about and understand negative exponents as having something to do with repeated division. Now, the next idea I want to put together with that is that a fraction is a division problem in disguise. So one way that could be useful to deal with negative exponents is by using a fraction that represents that division problem and then repeating that. Let's take a look at what that looks like in practice. So like I said, one example of a problem here that uses a negative exponent is 3 to the power negative 5. So the first thing I'm going to do to try to work with that is a unit fraction expansion, where instead I'll be saying, okay, what we've really got here is a unit fraction, because a fraction is a division problem in disguise, of 1/3. So we're saying, okay, let's divide by 3. So let's do 1/3 to the power 5. So that's a way we can expand that out and see what's going on here. We know that if we raise 1/3 to the power 5, that's really only going to change anything in the denominator because 1 to any power is still itself. So what we've really got here is 1/3 to the power 5. Now this is an excellent calculator problem, so let's grab a calculator and see what we can find out about this. 1/3 to the power 5. I could write that as 1/243 if I want to. I could also get a decimal estimate, and if I decide to round that to 3 decimal places, so to the nearest thousandth, I would say, okay, that is about 0.004. And that could be a good way to represent that for problem solving purposes. This next problem we can take a look at is 2 times 7 to the power negative 3. For a moment, we're just going to bring along the 2. So we'll still need to be saying, okay, this is 2 times something, but 2 times what? We know we want to repeat something 3 times over. And if we're talking about the opposite of multiplication of 7, which is division of 7, that could be the fraction 1/7. Now again, it's useful to put the fraction in parentheses to make sure that all the right parts of it are getting raised to that power. And then we can say that's really going to be that 7 that's being raised to the power 3, since we can conceptualize that 2 as 2/1. Then when we multiply all those together, that'll be 2 times 1 times 1 times 1. So that'll be 2/7 to the power 3. That's a useful simplified fraction form of this. Another way you could deal with that is raise that 7 actually to the power 3 and get, I believe it's 343, but check it with your calculator. But then we can go ahead and grab our calculators and say, okay, let's get a decimal estimate for 2/7 to the power 3. So 2/7 to the power 3, and that's exactly 2/343, so I did remember accurately, which is 0.00583, etc. It probably has even more decimal places than this, but we're not trying to write forever. I'm just going to round this to 3 decimal places to the nearest thousandth, and that's a choice I'm making. It could be a different precision level for a different problem you're doing, so I'm going to say that that's about 0.00, and then the 8 bumps up the 5 to a 6. And that is all there is to it when you're working with negative exponents. It is not as hard as people think it is. Calculator!